All right, I find myself here. So, my name is David Banks. I'm a graphic designer and photographer, and this is my podcast. I find myself here. Something long overdue. I wanted to do this for a very long time, and I'm really glad and excited that I get to do this. So, I find myself here talking about life. How do we find ourselves in terms of our concepts, how we perceive things? Is it good? Is it bad? And every day I get up, I am extremely grateful to be alive and to be well. Usually, there's nothing that happens in life that I do not try to twist and to create my own narrative and to make it into a positive. So, for example, just random first thing on my head or on my mind, my car isn't working and it's been down for a very long time. It's an old Mini Cooper Countryman, and it's just been giving problem one thing after the next. Went to the mechanic, went here, went there, and I've been buying lots of little things for it. And I'm really attached to it. I really don't want to sell it. I have every reason to sell it, but I'm really trying not to because I know it has potential to be a really nice car. And I really don't want to take out a car loan and that kind of a thing. I really want to fixate on real estate and things that will increase in value. So that has been a struggle. And, the more I don't have the cars, the more I realize that, this is probably working out for good. So, I try to take life from an extremely optimistic approach. That is where I find myself right now. I could have found myself in despair and sadness and in debt and say, hey, I want something brand new. And nothing is wrong with brand new if that's your thing. But for me, it's really not what I want to get into. So, yeah. So that is just one example of where I find myself in terms of transportation. So where do you find yourself? How do you find yourself? It really comes down to how you perceive the outside world and how you see your inner world. I find myself here. Seed, time, I find myself here. And it took a lot of seeds, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Mostly, I don't want to say mostly, lows. It's just been a lot of stuff going on, and at the end of the day, what are you gonna do? Complaining isn't gonna change anything. Why regret the past? Like what do you expect out of life? I think despair 90% of the time, and I'm 90% of the time, and I'm just throwing out a figure because most people do that. Let me say it like this: I think despair, the majority of the times, comes from your expectations being too high. If we can manage our expectations and not really expect too much, we won't be disappointed. So what do you expect? What do you expect from people? What do you expect from events? What do you expect from your career? If you're grateful and if you're really just open to the possibilities, like you ask God, you pray, you ask like, this is what I desire, this is what I want, and you're open to a result that might not be exactly what you expect, life would be good. Life would be good. And so that's where I find myself right now. Like, I'm alive, I'm healthy, I'm strong. I have the resources to do this podcast. I have an internet connection, a little mic in my hand, a couple of lights. I'm good, I'm set. Like, we can't all start off on top. And I don't think anybody has started off on top. And if you end up on the top without climbing, you might lose it all. Classic textbook example would be persons who win extremely large amounts of money in like the Powerball and the lottery. Like, you win all this money, you have no financial advice, and so you live way above your means. So you come from a studio flat paying rent to buying a 20-bedroom mansion in a beachfront compound, and then you wonder, like, oh, you didn't realize that you need to pay taxes to live there. You need to hire a staff and a whole gardening team to keep the lawns manicured and probably pedicured. So, they lose it all. I've been watching videos on YouTube about persons winning the lottery, and I do not want to be caught in that number. Not just of the lottery, but again, copying and pasting the concept of living above my means. I don't want to do that. So right now I'm trying to find myself to be extremely grateful for what I have in terms of the meals that I buy, in terms of the things that I do, even in terms of transport, like I alluded to previously with the car, rather than taking out a huge loan, just go on, pay down little, get little parts, and hopefully one day it gets back on the road. And even if it doesn't, I mean, it should be in a state that it is sellable, that it's in good working condition so that I can sell it and the person will feel like they got a good deal and we both benefited. So yeah, that's where I find myself right now. It's really living in the present, being grateful for what I have, and living within my means and not exceeding my expectations in terms of what I think should happen to me. Some people are jerks. Some people are, I'm not gonna say the word, but some people are like not nice. They're like, I believe that some people, like, the ground opened up and they came out of hell and they walked among us. Like, there are people like that right now. I can name a few. I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I might in some other episode. Right? It is what it is. But guess what? There's nothing we can do because not everybody's going to be nice. Not everybody's going to be on your side. You're going to have foes. You're going to have enemies. And how do you navigate your foes and your enemies? And then I can just tangent right there. So remember, I was talking about expectations and managing expectations. Sometimes foes and enemies come into our lives to make us better people. Case in point, David, which is the he's here. Here, David didn't plan to do this. He is like the mascot, the official mascot of IFMH here. See, David. So if you notice on this, David has his sling. This is the sling right here, and he's looking. Seat time, I find myself here, salutes our delegation. So everybody who believes in this concept is a part of our delegation. I hang these up at pop-up shops at the tent. So, David. So why is David, what makes David worthy to be the official mascot or representative of I find myself here? Well, his expectations. He wasn't born king. You know, he played the lyre for Saul when Saul had, let's just say, problems, you know, when he couldn't sleep. He played the lyre, and he famously slayed Goliath with the sling. Had it not been for Goliath, nobody would really care about David. He wouldn't be such a staple in our hearts. And every person who has done anything great has had their own fair share of Goliaths. Nobody is going to get to the top without confrontation, without a Goliath, without a huge challenge that might seem insurmountable. Even Beyonce, everybody loves Beyonce, and oh, she's the best dancer, which she probably is, or should I say she is, right? As a honorary Hive member, I think she is. But guess what? Nobody, do you remember? I guess her fans would know. She used to run in heels on a treadmill. Like, she used to, like, there was boot camp. So you see her now, but she wasn't born where she is right now with her status and her fame and the concerts and the solo shows. They all have the running in heels stage in life. Now the question is, are you willing to run in your proverbial heels? Are you willing to slay that Goliath? Are you willing to play music for a Saul in your life in order to get to the next level? And I find myself here willing and ready to do what it takes to build so that I can get to the level where I want to go, where God expects me to go. So that is pretty much what this podcast is about. It's really looking at existential circumstances and seeing how we can change our perspective so we can find ourselves in a better place by planting new seeds, by giving ourselves time and grace so that we can find ourselves here. And hopefully here will be somewhere different than it was yesterday. So that's it. So that's why David is the mascot, why David is the prominent figure for I find myself here, because he had his sling, and later on you'll see me coming with the harp. But for now, not the harp, the lyre. But for now, you know, he's a prominent figure, and every single person that you admire, I believe, like David, has dealt with their own Goliath. people only respect you and love you and cherish you after you have climbed the mountain, right? A lot of times, the person in your classroom who you pay no attention to, nobody cares about them. It's only when they make it on TV or they make it big is when people are like, oh, I knew him, I knew her, right? And that's why it's good to just keep the ones that were with you from all along close, because nobody wants a bandwagonist. Everybody wants authentic people. And so again, manage your expectations, right? You're not going to be winning all the time. There's no tree that blooms and produces fruit year round. It's absolutely impossible. Me doing this right now, it's like I wasn't doing this 4 months in a row. Like, this is my second recording in one day, I guess, because I knew that once I start, I wouldn't stop because there's a momentum, right? But it took me a long time to just kind of get the lights and the cameras and roll, because I'm really familiar with photography, not so much with video. And I was finding every excuse not to press the record button. Although it's the same thing. You set the frame, you set it up, and I just made it really complicated. And I don't remember I do remember what happened. I just gave myself a deadline. It's like, you need to do this now. And I found myself here in front of the camera. So again, it might be really crappy at this point, but guess what? Everybody starts with crappy. And the important thing is to start, is to fail fast, is to learn from the failure, improve, and so that we can grow. And then I'll find myself here. So I'm really looking forward to expanding this podcast so that I can invite guests here. They probably can come here in my little makeshift studio. I'm actually in my living room right now. And I'm hoping to get some really amazing guests to talk about problems, to talk about solutions, to talk about existential situations that we find ourselves in, and how to move forward, how to change our mindset, how to know when we have a seed or not, and how to know, how much time to spend. Seed time, I find myself here. Farmers are really important with the concept of I find myself here, because you need to know when to plant, where to plant, how much to water, how much time to give it to grow, and manage your expectations. I did geography in sixth form, and there was a concept of crop rotation. You don't plant all the time everywhere. You kind of leave one space spare, then you plant the crops in this side. So when there's a harvest here and the nutrients are done in the soil, you can rotate, and so that you don't have all the nutrients going all the time, like being used up all the time. So we have to know, the Bible says, cast your burden on the waters. You have to know how to diversify. I guess the reason why I wasn't giving this podcast a lot of attention is because I was funneling all my energy into photography and graphic design and other things, because I really wasn't depending on this as a source of income. But I know that if done right, it can be my main source of income. And as you can see, I went on a tangent into merch. It just kind of had to happen. And I'm really looking forward to sharing with the world, things like jewelry. Just take it over real quick. You see, jewelry, really nice stuff. All of these, this says, I find myself here. Great conversation pieces, because the reality is that whether you're in school, at work, sleeping, on the road, doing something you probably shouldn't be doing. Yeah, and there are many things. Like, you find yourself here, and it's a conversation. How did you find yourself here? Right? If you're on YouTube, you clicked, bam, and then spontaneously, whatever, you found yourself here, and that's great. Welcome, right? But everybody finds themselves here, wherever here might be. And if you love it, great, keep doing it. If you don't, then plant new seeds. Seeds in your mind, seeds in your environment, seeds in your friend group, seeds in what you watch, seeds in what you listen to. You plant seeds. It's a metaphor, it's an allegory for the beginning of something. Seed, time, you give it time, right? Just like a farmer, you don't get harvest 10 minutes after planting a seed. You don't ace a test and get 100% and make the honor roll 10 minutes after studying. You give it time. But if you give it enough time, you'll have an amazing harvest. I felt like the Trump thing coming on, like, you're going to have a huge harvest, a great harvest, the best harvest in the world. So it's gonna be fantastic. You're gonna have a fantastic harvest. Anyway, I do that a lot, maybe because I watch that a lot. Those are the seeds. They were like feeding my Instagram feed, so it's hard not to just jump in. Anyway, so you're gonna have an amazing harvest if you plant amazing seeds. Give yourself time to grow. So yeah, David is the mascot, is the poster child of I Find Myself Here, and rightly so. He defeated Goliath, and he not only people know him for the slingshot, but did you know that he was an excellent musician? So I can relate to David for several reasons because I'm an artist. I don't play music, but I think my art is in my drawings and my ability to use colors to create beautiful things. And that's what I do for a living, photography, composition. But in terms of the fight, I would say that the fight is in, I guess, how I articulate my points. But it's not about me. It's really about trying to embody David from the Bible. Like, you're going to have a Goliath. And David's life isn't perfect. In the future, he had mixed up. Everybody know about him at Bathsheba. And, he gets a little peace. But he saw her on the roof and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, persons will always appreciate the good that you did. And I think the good more often than not outshines the bad. It depends. It really depends. But most of the time, David when he's spoken about, even today, it's about Goliath, defeating Goliath, and not about his fling with Bathsheba. So let us try to not run away from our Goliaths and change history, but let us approach our Goliaths, defeat our Goliaths, whatever they may be, so that we can become king in our own right. We have to earn the title of king or queen or leader. We can't just get it like bam. And I love to benchmark celebrities. Every single celebrity, especially the musicians, the singers, the songwriters, the actors, most of them had gone through a lot to get to where they were, even in terms of their movies. One crappy movie, one cheating movie, until they got to this blockbuster, right? So give yourself time. When we think of people like Cynthia Erivo, like I didn't really, I know the face, but I didn't know that she was like good, like Michael Jackson, bad good. I didn't know that until I saw Oz, until I saw Wicked. And when I saw that, I'm like, whoa, like Wicked didn't just happen. It took her a long time, The Color Purple, etc., etc. It took her a long time to get there. And I'm glad she made it because what a performance. And we all have the potential to just be huge, if we don't run away from challenges, don't run away from Goliaths, but we are resilient and we don't stop until we perfect our craft. So that's it for this episode. That's all. Deuce.